golden seagull greets the dawn as it paints the windswept profile of Walker's Cay, a mile-long island suspended in perpetual summer at the northern gateway to the Bahamas. Once the lair of pirates, Walker's in recent years has been a major port of call for the big game angler. He comes not with cannon, but strong tackle and powerful boats. For the treasure he seeks lives in the deep regions of the ocean. But today, the big game angler has been joined by a new restless breed. He fishes from smaller boats with lighter tackle, and he travels the world, forever pushing back the frontiers of sport fishing. This series is about this new breed. Come with us as we travel the leading edge of light tackle angling. Each expedition will begin here at the world-class fishing resort known as Walker's Cay. Our guide is Flip Pallot, angling champion, teacher, and official keeper of the Walker's Cay Chronicles. Pallot has been perfecting the technique of light tackle angling for 3 decades, setting scores of international records. When he isn't guiding in the Florida Keys, he's here at Walker's teaching his special art or telling friends the details of his latest probe into sports fishing's far country.
Okay, there he is. Left.
Today we'll be riding the deep water off western Costa Rica, where Flip Pallot and a friend will try to catch the giant Pacific sailfish. They'll be employing a new technique whereby the 100-pound quarry is teased up close and personal.
Got a pretty good hook in him, Flip. Thanks, buddy.
When the fish follows the script,
Beautiful.
The payoff can be dramatic. This self-styled hunter is known in scientific circles as Istiophorus platyterus. At maturity, it weighs between 75 and 150 pounds. It's between 6 and 8 feet long, and its disposition is moody and highly excitable. It has a dagger for a nose, eyes the size of poached eggs, and a dorsal fin it can unfurl like a cloak on a windy night. In full regalia, it cuts an imposing figure in a world shadowed by mystery and surprise. It's a fast swimmer, an Olympian leaper, and its acute sense of survival ranks it among the most prized game fish of the ocean. This one prowls the incredibly clear cobalt waters off western Costa Rica. It's late summer, and while it searches the warm waters for food, a party of itinerant anglers traverses the surface seeking its company. Through the bright and balmy air, the anglers ride a 31-foot fishing machine called a Palm Beach dayboat. It trolls 2 hookless tweezers some 40 feet astern. Poised on deck is the instrument of choice, a 9-foot fly rod, a saltwater streamer, and custom-made reel packed with 400 yards of backing.
I've got some old squid teasers that we first used when we came down here in the end of the 60s.
You brought your own squid with you?
I brought my own squid with me.
Did you bring your own boat too? Did you bring your own boat?
Just get ready to fish. Let me worry about squid.
While Flip adjusts the action of his false squids, John Donnell, known to friends as Dozer, carefully strips 50 feet of fly line from the handcrafted aluminum reel, storing it in a bucket so that when and if the sailfish comes calling, the decks will be cleared and ready for action.
You this morning, didn't you already stretch it?
Now the stage is set, and all eyes focus on the bright dancing water around the daisy chains of plastic squid. The air is charged with anticipation. It's like the prelude to a ball game or a prize fight. But when the bell doesn't ring, the imagination often takes over.
God, you know, watching these baits, in my mind, I can talk myself into seeing a little bill behind the baits come along behind it, and I look back and there's something on the baits. No, it's all in my mind.
Okay, there he is. Left, guys. He's on the left. Some was Ricardo.
With a calm conditioned by an angling lifetime, Flip skillfully wheels in the hookless teasers, coaxing the big fish to within casting range of John Donnell's fly rod.
There he is. On your right, buddy.
The sail keeps coming, snapping at the racing squid, only to have it snatched away in a cat and mouse game that has the cat bristling. Again, Flip pulls the teaser from the fish's mouth, but it's closed now. And after the skipper throws the boat out of gear, John begins to roll out some line, while the sailfish, its system pumped with excitement, hovers just behind the stern.
Got him on, Flipper. Good job.
You missed him.
But with a suddenness equal to its arrival, the sailfish tires of the game and cruises back into the gloom, while topside, John tries to rekindle its interest.
Got two of them milling around here, Flippy.
No problem.
Not this time. The sail has quit, possibly in deference to the more familiar company of a striped marlin. For now, the game is over.
I am a wreck. Oh, God, I am absolutely a wreck. I had two great bites. I got nervous. I hit them the other way, and I just had them on the bill. I was wrapped around a rod tip. I just got to settle down, man. These things make me crazy.
Pretty bite anyway. You almost had him stuck.
A rain squall closes in, a common afternoon occurrence in these waters, and the teaser baits are kept dancing in the wake. Here on the Gulf of Papagayo during the winter months, the storms can be treacherous, but this is summertime, and the men aboard the Game Fisher 2 ride it out, enjoying its cool breath and drawing energy from it, always watching and waiting for the green and purple fluorescent flash to appear behind the teasers, for they know the sail is down there somewhere. The day had started blue and bright out of Flamingo Bay, a comparatively small protected notch in the great sweeping bowl of Papagayo, where all things natural remain as the day they were born.
Just imagine the first people that ever got a look at something like that.
Boy, it knocks me out every time I see it. Look, guys, what do you like to do sometimes? Go around this?
Though Flip and John had been coming to Costa Rica for 20 years, they're still struck by the coastline's primitive beauty, crowned only recently by a single jewel of a fishing resort, the first of many. And as they head out past the last of the Catalina Islands, they enter an experience that is less than a day from the honk and holler of Miami Airport, where daily flights leave for the capital of San Jose, a peaceful city heavy with old world architecture, hanging high in the inland mountains and moving tentatively to the rhythms of a new age. From San Jose, it's just 4 hours by good road or 45 minutes by charter plane, going northwest over the rainforest, down to the Pacific Ocean and Flamingo Bay, an exquisite wedge of the New World pioneered as a billfish paradise by Flip and a few others. And now the site of a 4-star resort, designed not only for the adventurous angler, but for those who prefer calmer waters. But now, in the wake of the squall, Flip and John discuss strategy, creating likely scenarios, and deciding how they'd react to the sailfish's imaginary moves.
I'll just take the teaser, put it down, and I mean, don't worry. Just don't worry about anything, because whatever.
John and I played the game over and over, conditioning our minds to act as one when the moment of truth arrived. For not only was this business of catching billfish on a fly as complicated as turning a triple play, it would have to be done on the opposition's home field, where the odds against us mounted even higher. So I tied an offshore streamer with a 4-0 hook onto the shock tippet using an improved clinch knot while John checked and rechecked the knots of his 3-piece leader. The tackle would have to be strong. Our chances of success would depend on it. Then the captain throttled back to trolling speed while Junior Bustasaraka, the mate, adjusted the teaser rods in their holders. And just as the plastic squid began their dance of seduction, new players came on stage.
John, you've got to look at this. Look at the number of porpoises here.
That's wild. Look at that.
Look at them spin.
That is a couple acres of golf. There must be a bunch of beta head up back there.
Look right here how they're riding the bow wave.
This is happening right
Crazy.
here.
What a lucky deal to be able to see this.
There are thousands of them, spinners, bottlenoses, tearing the water white, and Captain Chilimi stays with the school. He knows that the dolphin are master food finders, detectives of the sea, and where there is food, there should be sailfish.
What a lot, there's a lot going on here.
What athletes. Fabulous athletes.
But for now, everyone is content to watch and record this moment of natural grace, and perhaps to wonder what form of music plays beneath the domed brows of these mythic fish, these minds in the water. Just as suddenly as they reach the surface, the dolphin have gone deep.
Okay, let's get the baits back out.
While topside, it's back to business aboard the game fisher.
Send that bait out there, Skippy. I don't see him today.
The engines are knocked down to trolling speed. New fault squids and teasers are dropped back into the wake. Expectancy is running high. They can almost smell the presence of sailfish, and Dozer is primed.
Just got the first day jitters.
Here we go.
Okay, we're looking good. Okay, take it.
A sail appears behind one of the plastic baits even before it drifts into position. Dozer fires his best pitch and immediately begins stripping the fly, giving it lifelike action, while Captain Chilimi watches from the bleachers.
Leave it right there. Okay, got it.
But the sail's finicky. It ogles the fly without taking, and I wondered if it saw something it shouldn't.
Oh, he's out.
He came off.
He's coming with it. He's coming with it.
Yeah.
John, you might strip it faster when you reel it.
Second fish, a different fish.
Then, for no apparent reason, the sail backs off Dozer's fly and attacks one of my plastic squid.
Go ahead and get set up, John.
Okay.
We'll get him back up here.
Now it was up to me to tease the fish closer and closer until John could make a proper cast, and it kept coming, lit up like a neon sign at night. Now came the critical moment that Dozer and I had discussed so thoroughly. I snatched the hookless squid from the sea, and Dozer planted the fly right under the sailfish's nose. Perfect.
I think I got a pretty good hook in him. Thanks, buddy.
Beautiful job, Dozer. You're right.
The fish appears to be hooked solidly, and as the boat is kept in position by Captain Chilemi, Dozer and Flip warmly acknowledge each other's contribution to this moment. Through the teamwork of 4 men, a difficult connection has been made. And now Junior has joined the captain on the bridge to watch the show.
He's coming up. Guys, I think he's coming up.
Teamwork must continue throughout the battle, but for now, everyone's a spectator.
Okay, hold it, Ricardo, hold it. Okay, Ricardo, I'm getting line.
Time and again, the sailfish hurtles into daylight, lifting itself by means of a power drawn from ages of survival. The line sizzles off John's reel as the splendid traveler begins greyhounding toward the horizon. Flip records the action while Chilemi stands at the ready.
Hold on 1 sec, Richard. Okay, that's good. I'm good.
Coming up.
John, do you see the power he had in his bill back and forth trying to shake that fly?
Oh yeah, when he was beating down there.
He ain't be anywhere near that when he was getting mad.
Out there some 200 yards, the sail finally rests. And now John slowly begins to take back some line.
Those are some kind of jumps. First roll of jumps went in unbelievable.
This is the part of the fight where crazy things happen, and this is where the boatman, helps me out a lot. When I'm doing it, he's backing up, he's trying to get your line for you. You're just there trying to orchestrate things and keep your direction of pressure straight and everything. This is the tough part of the fight.
There's a lot of craziness going on in this one right here.
Now the line comes even more grudgingly onto the reel, an inch at a time. While below the surface, the sail sulks. Head down and pectoral fins spread like wings, digging in against the weight of the water.
You're not subject to run out of gas here.
No, out of gas.
Beautiful stuff, Richard. You're just right on top of it. This is right just how we need it to be. Perfect.
They have entered the middle rounds of the fight, and Flip keeps everyone's senses alert. And suddenly, there it is again, writing a message in the air that it's not over. It's 25 minutes into the fight, and John is slowly gaining line.
Come on, big boy. Okay, he's making a little move here. There he goes. Here he goes. He's shooting off the left. Well, I thought he was.
I don't know. Is that him?
Yeah, no, that's another fish.
That's not your fish.
I said, God, I couldn't believe he was over
back
here. So I can't believe I got that much belly in this.
See what they try to trick you.
Yeah.
They'll do anything.
Yeah, rat.
Suddenly, the sailfish does make a move, but in a totally unexpected direction. And John pumps and reels.
Yikes.
If the fish succeeds and gets directly beneath them, the line will rub against the boat and the hook could easily pull loose.
Free school, John.
So the captain shifts gears and the boat jumps forward.
Okay, I'm okay.
And the sailfish responds to the new angle of pressure.
It's okay. We're good. We got through it. We got through it.
I didn't want to turn too quick.
We got through it. Okay. He was headed right under the boat there.
I thought that was curtains.
Still right here.
You know what? He really disguised that move pretty well.
Yeah, he did.
Its reserves diminishing, the sailfish again puts its head down and spreads its pectorals for what may be its last stand.
Is he trying to sound on you?
Yeah, he's trying to get. I was trying to stop him if I can. Yeah, there we go.
Dozer.
As the line begins rolling onto John Donnell's reel, it is clear he and the opposition have entered the game's final inning.
Look at this right here. Isn't that wild?
And to add a bit of color to the moment, a school of porpoise swims right through the playing field.
This is like being in some kind of a giant aquarium.
Well, they're really curious, aren't they?
You taking line, John?
Oh, yeah, he's starting to take again, Richard. I'm trying to stop him here.
Take it easy.
John applies applies optimum pressure now, testing the tackle against the fish's strength and will. And this time the tackle has the best of it, and the sailfish begins to slowly plane towards the surface.
Here we go. Come on up here, big boy.
Then for the first time, the magnified blur of the streamer fly appears 15 feet down. And after an hour of spectacular struggle, the sail gives it up and moves tamely towards its brief capture. The trick now is to work fast and with great care.
Can I help you get the fly out? Yeah.
Flip holds the fish clear of the transom, out of harm's way, as John Donnell works quickly to free the hook. And all the while, the splendid athlete of the sea is drawing oxygen in through its gills, stabilizing its system and reclaiming its strength.
Yeah, I got the fly loose. Okay, Flip. I got it. Okay, buddy. Thanks.
Released from the hook, the sailfish is held a few more moments until Flip and John are convinced it's ready to go back. Each has returned thousands of big fish to the sea, and this one finally moves off. It's a little bit tired, perhaps a little wiser, but certainly none the worse for its brief encounter with the visitors from the other side.
Swim off good.
Oh, dozers! What a deal!
Hey, this is like old times. You feel like you're...
I feel like Bujade.
Way to go, man. That was
It's a
fun.
deja vu.
That's a nice sailfish.
Wow.
All right, I never
Wow.
get to do that. Yeah. Richard, Ricardo, my man.
Good job, gentlemen. Nice fish. Nice teasing, nice hookup, nice everything. Pretty work.
You're so good. Whew.
John had fought the sail flawlessly, and now with it safely released into its element, there was nothing left but to discuss the encounter's high points and to think about tomorrow, when I would be at bat.
I figured I'd better just...
In his typical way, John Donnell claims no private victory, no singular credit, nor do Flip or the others aboard the homebound Game Fisher 2. Instead, they each carry with them on the way back a deep sense of privilege and gratitude for their brief union with a great and wild member of another world, here in Costa Rica.
Those who have been in the forefront of light tackle angling have been coming to Costa Rica for 20 years, and I have found the enjoyment of passing through its mountain-based capital a primary part of the adventure. San Jose is the cultural centerpiece of Central America and the industrial engine of a country so peaceful it has no army. These children and their parents before them have no personal knowledge of the dehumanizing conflicts that have raged to the north and south of their country. While the government fights to pay off its international debt, Costa Rica is the only Central American country that can claim steady economic growth in recent years. And here in San Jose, the buses and trains tend to run on time through a complex interface of old and new. Where some 20,000 Americans have come to live among a nation whose 90% literacy rate is among the highest in the world. Where residents are friendly and the police helpful. Where personal and artistic expression lives on canvas and in the air. For me, San Jose is not just a quick stop on the way to the fishing grounds. It is a vital part of the adventure, a connection to a courageous people who choose to live simply and well in this urban hammock hanging 4,000 feet above its frontage on two oceans. But I'm always happy to return to the northern reaches of Costa Rica's west coast, where a profusion of life explodes endlessly along a shoreline virtually untouched by time. The morning broke fresh as new paint, and we resumed the hunt. A few bottlenose dolphin found us and played in the game fisher's bow wave. I tended to my tackle. Although many world records had come from these waters, that was not our purpose. Regardless of the size of the quarry, I can still get obsessive about preparation, both material and metaphysical. And so on our behalf, I appealed to the gods of the deep. I was on the fly rod now, and it was my turn at bat. I eased the point of the streamer into the cork butt. Then I placed the rod carefully on the deck, reel handle up, fly line unencumbered. This would be my connection to a wild and very powerful animal, and I wanted the tackle to be at its best, so that I could be at my best. Meanwhile, Dozer had rigged the teaser rods with two of my plastic squids, the larger of which he insisted on calling crocodile, and dropped them back into the boiling sea. Now all hands awaited the pleasure of Mr. Sailfish.
We got all the stops out now, man. We got the crocodile out. We blessed the fleet.
I may have put a little too much luck around the cockpit. I don't know.
We're going for broke now.
And then out of the depths came something else.
It's a marlin, it's a marlin, it's a marlin.
Pacific blue. And what do? Grab the teaser rod. So much for all the careful planning and preparation.
It's a big marlin, yeah.
It looks like big, that's a big fish.
It was too big for our gear, but in this David and Goliath game, all things seemed possible.
Oh, Cliff, like you want me to go fly this thing?
The sun's going to set on us fighting this fish, I can tell you that.
I swear, you can't.
You got hooked him.
No, I don't want to hook him.
All right, watch it.
I don't want to hook him.
Then it crashed John's crocodile like a runaway semi, but released it almost instantly and turned away into the current.
Wait, he's fading off. He's fading off.
Now it hung back in confusion.
Oh, come on, bring him to me.
No, he's faded off. He's not there.
The marlin had given us two chances, one more than we had any right to expect, and John and I sensed that he was gone.
I don't know what happened. I don't know.
Good fish. We wild on that bait. Can't believe that.
That's a blessing in disguise.
Oh yeah, thank you for losing.
A 400-pound marlin is just...
It looked like a good one. Richard, how big is that marlin, you think?
We knew with that little old fly, you could have got a couple good jumps out of him, though.
Minus another one. Minus a little smaller one this time, will you?
Well, I'll do the best I can.
As we watched the plastic squid dance, I decided Chalimi's estimate of at least 500 pounds was probably right. In all of angling, there's no more riveting moment than the sudden appearance of a blue marlin up behind the baits. But this majestic fish, which reaches weights of over 2,000 pounds, is being hammered mercilessly by some commercial interests. When I first came here to fish over 20 years ago, this tropical oceanic wilderness was known to very few outsiders, but no more. Now half a dozen luxury hotels dot the coastline, the most impressive of which is this one, located on the pristine shores of Flamingo Bay. John and I come here at least twice a year to dwell in paradise and do the thing we love, to fish with light tackle. And when we're not fishing, to talk about it.
You do that some of your tarpon flies, don't you shorten most of your points up? I know that from a tarpon fish with you, you've always had little shorter points. Yeah.
I thought I'd try it. You know, these are long and they do work. You know, they're working. But
those cadmium hooks are, thank goodness, are easy to. They're pretty easy to take down.
I always fake myself out in things like this. I say, well, gosh, if I make a real sharp point, will it cut its way in and then go ahead and cut its way out? And maybe I should use a round point with no cutting edge. Constantly second guessing myself in these fishing situations.
And you know what works? What works is always what ends up sticking in them.
Yeah.
It's always a
like what my dad says. You say, well, when is the best time to fish? And he always said, when it's raining and when it ain't.
But it's out here where our obsession finds full reign. This deep, shore-hugging chasm of the Pacific holds a variety of life that never fails to surprise me. Although the world's condition occasionally imposes itself in these waters, this vast submarine theater is alive with its own resident cast. Where the perennial love interest is played out by a pair of green turtles. Where a shimmering chorus line of life dances in its own blue dome. Where comedy plays in pantomime of beings listed higher on an evolutionary chain. Such wilderness playhouses exist not only in Papagayo, but in countless spots around the world, and increasingly they're being visited by a wanderer known as the light tackle angler. Back on board the Game Fisher 2, Captain Chilemi crisscrossed the ocean, while Dozer and I, fully recovered from the blue marlin incident, joined his search, our eyes trained on the skipping plastic squid. But not for long.
Here he comes, buddy. He's on the left, the subwood's Carter. Okay, that's good, looks good.
See my fly?
Yeah. Sure, buddy. Stay out of gear, Richard.
Go!
Here he comes after the fly.
For a moment I felt the weight of the fish, as though it had eaten the fly.
We get his teeth ready, White.
Okay, he just spit it out.
Oh, we lost it.
And then it wasn't there. Perhaps it had missed the fly altogether. Maybe what I felt was the hook hanging up in the bill for a second, then letting go.
Let's go forward. Forward. We lost them.
How could that be?
Anyway, he was gone, and I didn't know why, and neither did anyone else. We'd done everything right except hook the fish. Always the mood aboard a sports fisherman is subdued following a lost fish, as each member of the team watches the baits and privately replays the incident, satisfying himself that he didn't contribute to the outcome, or, if he did, drilling himself to be more alert next time. But the gear was ready, and soon so were John and I, as we stood in the stern in anticipation of another round.
Richard! Yeah! Just take us right to the fishing hole anytime. We're ready.
Just waiting on you.
And then, the first sign that life moved directly beneath the surface, the angled shapes of frigate birds. Captain Chilemi swung the boat into the midst of the flock, hoping that whatever they were feeding on from above were also being attacked from below, by a sailfish maybe.
Very good sign here, this pack of frigate birds. The name of those birds in Spanish is tijereta, which means scissor tail.
Oh, the man of wars? Yeah.
You look at their tail, it looks just like a big pair of shears.
They're definitely picking a lot of stuff up. They gotta be on a...
It pays to troll past them, and
Oh, sure, yeah.
they're better at this than we are, believe it or not.
In my mind's eye, I saw a large sailfish cruising down there. swimming beneath the school of baitfish, ready to rise to our squid.
Here he comes up on the teaser. Keep him coming now, John.
Hold steady, hold fast.
Let him get another nibble. He's getting hot, John. Let him nibble. There you go. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
All right. Now we're here. Now we're okay. You still there, Ricardo?
Hang on, I don't see him.
There he is. Okay. Oh, nice job. Okay. Got it.
Instead of curling in from the side, this sail obligingly came straight at the bait.
Take it out. Okay. Okay. Nice job, buddy.
And when I struck, I felt the hook sink into something solid, and then I knew I had him.
Now look at that sucker come. Come on, big boy.
Those first few moments after the hookup are perhaps the most exciting in all angling. It's when the fish and the angler share a single heartbeat, a oneness that speaks to something buried by time, a kind of primitive center, point of life that I believe we all possess in varying degrees of intensity.
You're fine. I love having you there.
I just like being here. He's coming up. Guys, I think he's coming up. Whoa!
Good one. Okay.
Oh, how were you so casual when you set up on him? I couldn't believe it.
I'll tell you exactly what I was doing. I was feeling for that fish with my left hand.
Because wasn't sure what was happening. I saw you just so relaxed. God, if he's still there, I think
I was feeling for the fish with my left hand.
You got a good hook in him. Got his hook really right in the side of the mouth. It couldn't be hooked better.
Back real easy, Ricardo. You know, when we first started fishing for these fish down here in the 60s, Stu Abt and I, we, of course, had no experience with billfish on fly.
Right.
And not many people did. I guess only one, maybe two other people had done it prior to then. And it's almost an irresistible temptation when you first feel that fish with the rod to start whacking him, to set the hook, just like you would with a tarpon or a snook or a bonefish or any fish that we're normally used to fishing. But that's a big mistake with sailfish.
They got that bill hanging there all the time.
The bill covers up the fly before the mouth inhales the fly. And the temptation is to go for it when you see the bill cover the fly.
It's coming up, looks like maybe. It's coming up, guys. You can't figure this out to save his life.
You know what else was very different in the beginning? We had reels that would only hold 150, 200 yards of 30-pound test back. Now, there are guys around building reels that are made for this job.
Yeah,
this reel being one of them for sure.
And the other good thing is all that line you can endure a good long run, without having to get panicked and back down on fish because you got the capacity there.
Well, what it really has to do with also is the diameter of the arbor.
Right.
The larger the arbor of the spool, the more line you gather with every turn of the handle.
Right.
And this reel is so large that every time you turn the handle, you take a pretty good slug of line.
Yeah, being one-to-one, you got to be able to.
Rate of retrieve is so important in fishing where a fish can run out long distances. And conventional tackle, which is geared in the retrieve area to 2-to-1, 3-to-1, as much as
This line gathering ability of the new reels is of critical importance to the survival of any big fish caught on a fly
Oh
rod.
yeah,
It places greater control in the hands of the angler, it shortens the time of the fight dramatically. In the case of this billfish, he never got the opportunity to go deep because I could gather the slack line so quickly after every jump.
coming up.
Big boy.
There has to be an
like it's
athlete
coming up there,
at both
Pallot.
ends of these rods.
There he goes.
Real slow, Rich. Real slow. Let me put some pressure on it, too.
Okay. Coming up.
With that whole first pressure. Well, he's got it.
In just 20 minutes, the SAILFISH was at last nearing the point of release. And now Captain Chalimi and I worked in unison, he backing down slowly while I took in line.
I can see him.
This stage of the battle is when most fish are lost. When he sees the boat and his movements become skittish and even more unpredictable.
Can't get you. Right up top. Here he comes right up.
Shaking his hand.
Well, maybe he'll jump for us.
Here he goes.
You've been lucky on this one, dog. This fish's been staying right on top, man. I can't believe it.
The fish was tiring now after his extended aerial performance, and he held a few yards off the stern. While the skipper kept the boat in position, I increased the reel drag with my fingers.
He's coming back up. Yeah, here he is. Well, he's really on top. Look at him go.
Windshield wiping. Windshield wiping. Boy, Dozer, I don't envy you. You're going to have to do something with this thing pretty soon.
No problem, man. Let's bring him on.
Okay, out of gear.
When you've been at it a while, you can feel when the fish has given up. There's a kind of release, a quick drop in weight. And I felt that now, as the sleek blue athlete turned toward the boat. And then it was right there, just a few feet beneath the surface, and I doubted that it had another surge left.
It's making more sluggish moves.
It's a nice fish, Flip. Hopefully he's as big as mine.
What do you know?
What do I know?
The sun is clearly in your eyes. See this angle, how it's bringing it to the surface?
Then the SAILFISH tried one last maneuver, thrusting itself off to the right. But the captain swung the boat perfectly.
Thanks, Richard. Good move.
And now it was up to Dozer to get a hold of that bill, a tough and dangerous chore. And then we could say thank you and let him go home.
Don't worry about letting go. I'm ready for you to have to let go.
Okay, Flip, I got him. I don't want to get him out of the water if I can help it.
All right, you want me to take the fly out?
I think I can get him. Let's see. Boy, it's nice. The hook's in the perfect spot. Pretty fish, huh? Did he do it?
Oh my goodness. Look at the heliotrope colors in his face.
He's pretty tired. You want him? Okay, here we go. Okay, Flip. Ready? Cut him loose. Kicker in gear, Rich.
Okay, let it
Flip loose, okay. Get him kind of lined up. Looks like he's in pretty good shape, huh? There he goes.
The SAILFISH was still in excellent shape, thanks to the best modern equipment, plus the care and respect of 4 happy anglers, including one that was very tired.
Dozer,
That's a pretty good job.
all this perspiration doesn't mean I'm not having a great time.
Well, you did pretty good on that fish.
Great job at teasing. Thank you very
That was
much.
fun.
Gentlemen are hot down there. Some pretty work. Everybody's clicking today. We're dialed in.
you.
We're dialed in.
Well, turn on the air conditioning, por favor.
Good job, Doctor. That was fun. That was neat.
As the fish and I rested, it occurred to me what an extraordinary experience I'd just had. To be tuned into the wild heart of a Pacific sailfish and then to be able to let it go unharmed. That, as the man said, is what light tackle fishing is all about. And that's what I hope the future is, for all sport fishing everywhere.
Good job, Flip. Nice fish, buddy. Good Lord.
This is Flip Pallot to remind you that on Sunday afternoon, August 25th at 4:30, my buddy John Donnell and I will be in the Florida Everglades, the primeval haunt of the tarpon. We'll be taking you back into places so wild and so secret that they're known only to a very few people. But in addition to fishing for tarpon, redfish, and snook, we'll take you on a 60-minute trip into an Everglades you've never seen before. The exquisite river of grass where America's greatest variety of wildlife still survives in the face of time. So join us here on ESPN August 25th, 4:30 p.m. Eastern on the Walker's Cay Chronicles.